G-O-A-T. What are you talking about? Something.
Under falls, LeBron 3. Rebound by Porter. Makes a move. Game's on.
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
When it comes to the Denver Nuggets-Lakers so-called rivalry, now in 2024, it's anything but. As the Lakers yet again are down 0-2 in the first round and lost a staggering 10 straight games to the same Nuggets team. And what's one thing I've been preaching for the longest time? LeBron James for his Lakers team, he can be great for 40 to 45 minutes every single night. But in the final few minutes, the final couple of seconds, this dude always versus the Nuggets finds a way to lose. And this game too was just the epitome of that, as Lakers were up by 20 points and even 10 in the fourth quarter. And I gotta ask you guys one question. Who's the media gonna blame for this Lakers loss? Is it their so-called leader LeBron James, or it'll be Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, or D'Lo? If you ask me, it's the guy who late in the game had the game winner wide open, not within 10 feet of him, and clanked it off and missed. But looking at Clutch Sports, the narrative's already out there. It's Reeves' fault, D'Lo, the supporting cast, and the role players.
They're going to need a better D'Angelo Russell. You can't just say, oh man, shots ain't go in.
Give Anthony Davis credit. We can't blame Anthony Davis, Stephen A.
And then unfortunately, when we show you the numbers, he got more opportunities and more minutes, but he had another brutal performance.
They need a better Austin Reeves. You're on the scouting report now. Get in your bag now. Got to play better.
Isn't it just downright hilarious how LeBron James, his time in Cleveland, Miami, and now Los Angeles, every game, every series, every season, he needs a perfect supporting cast to get the job done. And tonight, I mean, he had a pretty good supporting cast. Anthony Davis, 32, was rolling. D'Lo, 23, major bounce back game. Reeves, 9 points, some big shots in the fourth quarter, and then Taurean Prince had 6. Out of the Lakers' 8-man rotation, not including LeBron James, the majority of those players stepped up and were highly impactful. And despite that, the Lakers still lost this game with a 20-point lead and had LeBron James choke in the final seconds. And one thing I do want to point out very quickly, Jokic's best teammate Jamal Murray played the game winner tonight. On the series of shooting, 18 of 48. That's 37% from the field. If LeBron's best teammate was shooting sub 40%, what would the narrative be? Oh, this dude is just carrying his team, a masterclass performance, and his supporting cast role players, they're giving him nothing. For Jokic, throughout his entire career, doesn't need those lame excuses of no teammate help. As despite Jamal Murray being a sub 40% shooter, the Joker, like usual, found a way to win the game and go up 2-0 in the series. And looking back at the NBA media, all season long, what have they told us? LeBron James, season 21, age 39. Still a top 5 player, the greatest of all time, and playing like he's 25. Now, with that in mind, listen to their takes after game 1 when LeBron faltered in the clutch.
In this game, he wore down. And LeBron's overall numbers were good. I thought he was not good in the final 15 minutes of this game. He had some bad turnovers, and he looked like the oldest guy in the league for stretches out there.
Lakers may be in some trouble because Bron had a great game, AD had a great game, and they never stood a chance at winning the game after the first half.
But the NBA probably at some point needs to look in this altitude thing. It seems like...
Hold up, Nick.
These prominent LeBron media figures just have downright zero integrity, zero standards for themselves or their so-called king. As looking at role players for championship teams, role players for great teams. Yes, sometimes they'll struggle and they won't show up. But what I always thought, what I always learned, the burden of winning and losing falls on the superstar. That's why those guys get $40, $50 million, and the 8th man, the 6th man, gets maybe 5, 7, 10 million bucks maximum. And I just love someone like Nick Wright, who again, all year long, season 21, age 39, LeBron better than ever. But goes down 0-2, what's the narrative now? You know, well, LeBron actually showing his age, he's old, and you know also the altitude, someone needs to look into that. Nick Wright quite literally will blame the entire state of Colorado instead of LeBron James for the Lakers losing. And looking at Draymond Green really quickly, kind of had a similar take to Nick Wright regarding LeBron's stats and overall play. As he said straight up, LeBron James had a good game, played great. And Nick Wright said LeBron stats-wise was kind of fantastic. And looking at the stats, I mean, raw paper, raw numbers, I mean, they're pretty damn good. But like you guys know, the raw stats, raw numbers only tell you so much about a basketball game. As looking at LeBron James in the clutch time moments, not just this year, but also last year, versus the Nuggets, he self-destructs and chokes every single game. As looking at the clutch time numbers from last year's West Finals, 1.3 points per game on 16.7% shooting with a plus-minus of -5. LeBron in the clutch time moments had more turnovers than made field goals. And for comparison's sake, of course, let's compare that to Michael Jordan in his career with clutch time scoring. In playoff runs that he qualified for in clutch time scoring, 1997 the first round, 6.5 points per game, nearly 70% shooting, with a plus-minus of +5. That year's finals and East Finals, around 5 points per game on 50% shooting in the clutch. Look at 98, kind of a similar thing. The East Finals, 5 points per game on 46% shooting. NBA Finals, 6.0 points per game on 39% shooting. According to the official NBA stats that we have, the tracking that we have, back to 97, Jordan only once in his career shot sub 40% in a playoff series in the clutch time moments. LeBron last year was at 16.7. And kind of the ice on the cake of this argument of who's the more clutch player, late game shot maker, LeBron in his career, the final 24 seconds, game time go ahead shots, 11 of 30 at 36.7%. Michael Jordan, 9 of 18 at a respectable and great 50%. At what point do Lakers fans, LeBron fans, and more importantly, the media, start holding LeBron James accountable for his late game blunders and choke jobs versus the Nuggets?
That's the D-Lo they need to show up for the series in order to have a chance. And oh, by the way, can we get some bench production from somebody other than Taurean Prince? Nobody else scored a point. Not Dinwiddie, not Gabe Vincent, not Jackson Hayes. Nobody. Zero from the Lakers bench. I mean, come on, man. You can't ask LeBron and AD to do but so much. Somebody else got to step up and show they wear a Lakers uniform too.
Now, hearing Stephen A. Smith right there, I guess he's been sipping the Kool-Aid talking to Shannon Sharpe too much. Because that right there is LeBron fan propaganda 101. Always, and I mean always, blame the bench, the role players. And looking at last year's West Finals, when it came to the bench and the role players, in comparison to Denver, the Lakers were actually better. 8 more points per game, better from the field, less turnovers, higher plus-minus offensive rating, and net rating. The Lakers bench last year was fantastic in the West Finals, and still, they got swept and lost. The Lakers' main problem, more times than not, is LeBron James in the clutch. And looking at D'Angelo Russell last year versus the Nuggets, I would say he was the scapegoat and the guy got blamed for the Lakers losing that series. And D'Lo in that series shot 32% from the field. Of course, not great and indefensible. But with that being said, looking at Jordan's career, his third leading scorer on his teams was Tony Kukoc more times than not. And looking at Kukoc with the Bulls on the second three-peat, he had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different series shooting under 32% from the field. And guess what? The Bulls in those series went 4-0 and had a record of 15-2. Michael Jordan's second best offensive teammate, third best teammate on the roster, was shooting absolute bricks in the East Finals, and despite that, the Bulls still won because they had Michael Jordan, the greatest player in NBA history. And hypothetically speaking, just imagine Jordan's Bulls teams, they lost 97, 96, or even 98. Who do you think would get blamed for the team losing? It wouldn't be Ron Harper, Steve Kerr, or someone like Tony Kukoc. Back then in the 90s, the 80s, I would say even 2000s, early 2010s, it was a superstar's job to overcome adversity like their teammates not shooting well. But now in the 2020s, it's a crushing excuse for the superstar player when their team fails. Whenever LeBron James retires, calls it quits. You can look at the longevity stats, the great prime stats, you can look at all that. But 10, 20 years from now, the memory of LeBron James, a guy for 44, 45 minutes, was just fantastic, a great player. But in the final closing seconds of a big-time ball game, more times than not, came up short with missed shots, turnovers, and crucial mistakes late. So that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Out the next time.